Hello, everyone, and a happy Thursday to everybody. This is the Rodeo Joe Show. Episode 4, going to cover the first game of the Week 3 schedule. Is tonight, a Thursday night game between the Titans and the Jaguars. I would also got a couple things that I'd like to talk about beforehand. First off, the Jets' Jamal Adams was recently fined. I believe it was over $21,000 by the NFL for the roughing the passer call that he got on Baker Mayfield. And a lot of people are coming out and, well, I guess mainly him, and saying that he just thinks it's bullcrap and it's a joke that the NFL fines a player for that much for doing something like that. And I just have to say that if we look back on things historically, we look and see that usually within the first 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 weeks, more or less the first month of the NFL season, because these NFL referees are part-time, they have jobs that they do outside of refereeing. I think that kind of is the main reason why we have a lot of these officiating problems. I believe that last week there was more holding calls called last week than any time since about 2013, I believe. And, everybody wants to just, immediately just come down on these referees for these calls that they're doing and everything like this. And basically what I'm trying to get to is as far as we go, let's first talk about the Jamal Adams play. And I have seen a lot of plays where, especially last year was really bad with a lot of these roughing the passer calls. I recall there was at least 3 or 4 instances that dictated an entire game. I do remember Clay Matthews was the victim of one that ended up leading to putting the Bears into field goal range, which they ended up tying the game and sending it into the overtime, and then I believe they tied that game. And he was upset because it was on a 3rd down, and it basically, changed the outcome of the entire game. And that Clay Matthews play, if you watch it, it was pretty bogus. Really shouldn't have been called, but and it dictated the whole outcome of the game. But basically, what I'm trying to get to is that you got to kind of cut him some slack. I know that's really hard to say because everybody wants to put blame on these referees and stuff, but give him these couple weeks. It's always been this way for as long as I can remember, ever since the whole collective bargaining thing happened. Just give it time. They'll polish it up. Everything will work itself out. Now, I'm not going to say there's going to be any bogus calls from here on out, but with the way the current system is set up, especially for pass interference calls being reviewable and stuff like that. And then, we already have scoring plays and turnovers that are automatically supposed to be reviewed. So I look at this year being one of the years where I don't think officiating is going to dictate too many of the games based on all of that. I think that we've pretty much got everything in order for the best that we can. And then going back to this play by Jamal Adams, I thought it was clearly roughing the passer myself. I usually tend to favor the defense on plays like that, but I've seen players larger than him that move faster than him that are able to stop, and they basically kind of just hit him with their chest and throw their hands up, and they're like, hey, But there was a little bit of deliverance behind his hit. So does he deserve to be fined $21,000? Probably not. I mean, that's a good chunk of change for just one play. But for him to come out there and say, that, he thinks it was, I don't know if he doesn't agree with the call or what have you. But I thought it was roughing the passer. I mean, Baker was clearly going through his motion. I mean, he was scrambling outside, but he was clearly throwing the ball, and he kind of lowered his shoulder a little bit and then kind of tried to back away from it, turn his head like, he didn't want the contact, but he made the contact, and they're going to throw the flag every time. So, but that's my little short rant on that. Now let's. This is going to be a shorter episode today, obviously, because there's just one game to just preview. I can't even break it down yet because it hasn't happened. But I will like to throw out a couple things first before I do that, and I will say that I apologize for the amount of episodes that I've put this week. Maybe you guys enjoy that. I don't know. I'm trying to get a more consistent flow and consistent upload, and I think I've got it. After this week, I think I'll have it pretty much standard of how I want to do things, and I'm looking to. I like to keep it with the same. Monday will be that'll be my day where I cover all the games that happened on Sunday. And then I will preview the Monday night game. I'll put a Tuesday show on as well, where I'll review the Monday night game, kind of go over some headlines that we might have, or I might not have crossed on the Monday episode, and things that acquired throughout the day. And then I will also preview the Thursday night game on that Tuesday episode. That way, I can have a Monday episode, a Tuesday episode, and then come back and post on Friday a preview and a breakdown of the Thursday night game. So we'll have a little bit better of a flow as far as the week goes. And with that being said, also, the college football season is really starting to kind of pick up. We haven't quite hit the big conference games yet. We have some of these lower end games. I look to as far as the college football season goes. Once the conference season does pick up, I would like to cover a good bit of those games. Like, let's say maybe a couple in the top 25, some of the bigger marquee matchups. I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I want to do maybe just a big chunk of the Big Ten, maybe all of the Big Ten. But I do look to include some college football into my shows, and I'll keep the same kind of consistent flow there, whereas, Friday I'll preview some college football games too. And just if you guys like the sound of that, just give me some feedback, let me know, and just comment below, or in various forms of social media. You can follow me and just kind of give me your opinion on what you think about that, because I really want this channel to grow and expand, and I really like your guys' feedback. Your guys' feedback and support just makes this all the more enjoyable to do. So yeah, I'm open to any critique and criticism. So just don't be afraid to let me have it. I'm always open to hear what you guys have to say. I want to make this very community driven. So anything you guys have to say, whether it be positive or negative, I appreciate any feedback, so thanks for that. But now going into tonight's game, AFC South matchup, Titans at Jaguars. The Titans are favored in this matchup. They're 1-1 going against the 0-2 Jags. There's a lot of turmoil going on in Jacksonville, as we're all aware of, with Jalen Ramsey, and basically what he's asking for the trade. He will play tonight. He's actually been contacted by a few teams that sources have said. They've asked him if he'd be willing to play again this week. So we're looking at the possibility of him playing twice in 1 week. So, and apparently he went and practiced yesterday. And immediately after practice, there was a golf cart nearby, and he sprinted towards it and pulled out a cell phone and just immediately got on it. So, obviously, his head isn't completely into the game. I'm just speculating here, but you sprint over to the phone. Maybe it's something different. Maybe he has an issue going on, a personal matter, we don't know, but reports say that, and just my gut would tell me that he's going to check to see if anything's been updated on trades and whatnot and what have you. If it's anybody that's followed this situation and has read into what's been going on knows that he's very, very unhappy in Jacksonville and he wants to play somewhere else. So, with that being said, I'll get into the game in general. I really, really like Tennessee in this game. Tennessee has historically been very, very good against Jacksonville. They've actually won 4 in a row against Jacksonville. And if you break it down, they've actually played each other twice in the Thursday night capacity and beat them both times. In this 4-game win streak that the Titans have over them, they've only allowed 40 points, I believe it's 41 points to Jacksonville. So not only have they beaten them, but they've beaten them pretty convincingly as well and held them to less than 10 points a game, which is impressive. They've won 6 out of the last 7, if anybody remembers, and they're really wanting to move past this. But anybody that does remember, Derrick Henry actually broke a 99-yard touchdown run against Jacksonville, and it was the NFL posted it as like one of their 89. I don't know if it's for the season or just in the whole NFL history, the 89th greatest play, and which if it's 99 yards, I would have to believe it'd be across the entire history of the game. But it was a heck of a run. He broke like 4 tackles, and he himself is done over it. He gets a lot of people, coming up to him and wanting to talk to him about it, and he just says, I'm done. I'm over it. It was a great play. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to go over this anymore. I just want to focus on, the now, the present, and we'll move on. And Jacksonville feels the same way about it. They're not even going to use it in their film session. They don't want to look at it anymore. It's done. It's over with. They're wanting to move on. But with that being said, with the way Tennessee has played defense this season, they're actually they have a +5 turnover margin. That's the best in the league right now. Going up against a Jacksonville team that's obviously got its issues. Its star player is wanting out. It's got a backup quarterback coming in, making his second start. I don't like Jacksonville at all in this game. I look for Tennessee to have a pretty convincing win again tonight, and I look for Derrick Henry to have a pretty good game as well. So that's basically all I can say about that. Tennessee has really performed pretty well. Had a hiccup last week, but they were the least penalized team last season, and I believe they only have I think 11 penalties so far this season. So they're looking like they're going to stay consistent to that. They play good defense. They're very opportunistic, and they don't commit penalties. And they have a strong running game. That's a good recipe to win in this league, especially against a team that's kind of on the down end, one of the lower echelon teams in the league. So I look for Tennessee to win big tonight. Look forward to watching it and seeing how it goes and reviewing it tomorrow. But that about wraps up this week's today's episode. Like I said, it was going to be short. Look forward to tomorrow, going over the rest of the games in the Week 3 season. And I know I say it a lot, probably sound like a broken record, but I don't want it to get lost here with me saying it over and over again. But everybody's continued support and feedback so far on this channel has been fantastic, and I really appreciate everything. And like I say over and over again, if there's anything that you guys like, don't like, want to hear, please, I'm open to anything. I'm looking to possibly in the future also having some guests come on to the show and talk and rant some football stuff and this, that, and the other, and also potentially help guest host with me and have kind of a co-host with me to help the show get going and that's something that you guys find pretty interesting, just let me know. And again, thanks for the support, guys, and can't wait to talk tomorrow.